Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at a few different EV companies. 1. Porsche. 2. VW. BYD. Now, this video is actually recommended to make by BAOSW. The person who made the comment basically said, can you check for a potential next video about Porsche stock, VW stock, BYD stock? Seems to me consolidation phase. Porsche could be a buy during the next 3 months. Are developing e-fuel in Chile. By the way, PSNY to the moon. Thank you for your comment. I really appreciate that. That's been awesome. So first we want to check out Porsche's new Panamera. I didn't think Porsche would make another Panamera, but nevertheless, I find it quite interesting. And even more interesting is checking out the features of the Panamera. Apparently, you can control it from your phone and just use your phone to tilt the car in whichever direction you please. I must make an entire video about this car. And they're playing around with this car as if it's a toy. It is tilting forward. It is tilting backwards. It's quite insane. I sound like an old person, but you don't see this every day, do you? So essentially, this is called Active Ride. It is an hydraulic system that can widely tilt the 2024 Panamera e-hybrid. It is an hybrid, apparently, with the steering wheel and the pedals while in test mode, but also demonstrated by Porsche for its out-of-spec video using a smartphone. You can use a smartphone to control this car. To be honest, I'm not going to talk too much about this car. It is a hybrid. I'll probably make another video on this car entirely. But what I really want to talk about today is the shares. That's the shares for Porsche. And there's two different shares for the Porsche company. There is Porsche Holding SE. And this has a high dividend yield, 5.77%. The ticker symbol is PAH3D. Now the other Porsche stock, which is Porsche AG, I believe, preferred equity. This ticker symbol is P911D. Very interesting. So the Porsche Holding SE, this is German multinational corporation, and it's holding company within a 53% stake in Volkswagen AG. Very interesting. Now, one of these shares allow you to vote within the company, and another one of the shares don't allow you to vote within the company. So it's very interesting, the situation of Porsche. So the commenter was basically saying in the next 3 months could be an opportunity to buy Porsche. That's a very interesting perspective. Looking back out, you know, it looks like Porsche Holding SE has been on the market for quite some time. And 2020, it had a really bad pricing, around 30 euros for pandemic pricing. So currently the price is 45 euros. That's only 15 euros above pandemic pricing. That's actually a good price considering that this company owns a majority stake in Volkswagen. That's extraordinary. No one owns a bigger stake in Volkswagen AG. That's extraordinary. And I'm not here to offer financial advice. This is not financial advice. This is just a video about my opinion on these shares. I do like Porsche as a company. I do like VW. I do think that they have lots of potential, to say the least. Of course, Porsche is having a huge transition into the electric age. And at the height of Porsche IP, the price was around 120 euros. It was big. It was big. The IP was last year, back in September, apparently. So that's really interesting. But let's look at another company, BYD. They've improved massively on the type of cars that they are building. And they've improved massively on the revenue, as you can see. Like you can see, 2020 pandemic pricing for revenue was 22.9 billion. Right now, this year, revenue thus far is 82 billion plus. That's really interesting. But if that's how much they've improved the revenue since 2020, BYD looks like it's a massive opportunity waiting to explode if it hasn't exploded already. Another share to look at is the Volkswagen share itself, Volkswagen AG. So apparently, Porsche Holding SE, it's an holding company apparently. That Porsche holding company owns approximately 53% in Volkswagen AG. That's extraordinary. I really don't understand the situation with how VW is set up and how Porsche is set up. It's a weird partnership, but it's probably for security reasons. It's probably to keep it within the German umbrella. And that's a compliment, because if they want to protect both companies from outside influence, then they're doing a good job if it's working for them. But a really extraordinary thing about this company is that the dividend yield is extraordinary. We're currently looking at dividend yields of 8.7%. you're currently looking at dividend yields of this company at $8.7. That's extraordinary. Something else that's extraordinary about the Volkswagen company is the amount of debt that this company has accumulated over the years. I'm not going to get into too much controversial details about this because it is really not my place. And perhaps in another video, I can talk more about the Volkswagen debt and other EV debts and other electric companies or automotive companies that have huge amount of debt. But to be honest, I think we all know why Volkswagen has this amount of debt. It's a huge company that probably relies on debt to function. But based on the information that I'm getting from Qualcomm, and I might have to double check with this detail because it's incredibly, the amount of debt is totaling over 108 billion, 63 billion in cash. But how about revenue? Now, revenue is where Volkswagen does incredibly well. Revenue thus far in the first half of this year was $80 billion. I think they can manage their debt if they can manage to continue making this amount of money. You know what's extraordinary? 2020 had a huge impact on Volkswagen, but the diesel scandal didn't in revenue. In terms of revenue, at the last over a decade of this company trading, almost 15 years, it went from 27 billion, and that's the first half of each year. In 2008 in total, it was generating just under $60 billion. And now they're doing that in the first half of the year. So it's grown extraordinary. And I don't see a weak point in where they were impacted largely on Dieselgate. So that's interesting to notice. There's other companies that I could look at. I wouldn't particularly buy shares in a Volkswagen company. That's what's interesting. But I would like to buy shares in both Porsche companies, the holding company. I'm also interested in BMW. I'm invested in Mercedes. I'm interested in BMW, Mercedes. I'm interested in other companies such as BYD. BYD Company Limited. This is perhaps the global company limited. This is perhaps not just the EV side of the company. This is perhaps a global stock for the entire holding company. The revenue on this is astronomical, honestly. And I believe this is quarter. This is per quarter. 2023 so far, quarterly results. Am I right in what I'm seeing? In the first quarter, they made 120 billion. In the second quarter of this year, they made 139 billion. And in the third quarter, they made 162 billion. I'm honestly mind blown. Fourth quarter last year, they've already surpassed it. And this is BYD, the entire company, not just the EV company, I believe. This is the expanded, larger company. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. I hope this video was good enough. I could make more videos on this topic. Subscribe and leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.